Welcome back to another episode, guys. Import Modify. So in this episode, I decided that I was going to go ahead and send the heads off to the machine shop, and we're going to go ahead and have those rebuilt. So we're going to cut to the scene now. Alright guys, so I'm about to go ahead and take these heads to the machine shop and let them go through and rebuild them all so that everything is without question good to go. But I'm going to talk to you really quick about what I did. This obviously is the one that I got from the pull apart yard. This is the original head, and whenever I bought the car, he gave me the heads that were off the 87W turbo engine. So these heads look really nice compared to the ones that were on the 84 engine. So what I did essentially is I took the cams, the rockers, the lifters and the lifter assembly and everything, and I transferred them over to the heads that we're going to be using on the car. And then also took the valves, valve springs and everything off those heads because they looked in way better shape. Bagged them up right there. So I'm going to take all this down to the machine shop. I'm going to let them rebuild both heads and deck them both so that they do match each other in deck height, because I'm not sure whether or not one was decked before and one being original out of the donor car. I don't know. So I'm going to let them determine all that, get everything within identical spec, rebuild it all, and when I get them back, there's no question that these heads are good and ready to go. But in the meantime, we are going to be doing a couple things to the car to get it ready so that next week when I get the heads back in, we'll just slap everything on, get everything buttoned up, and be done with this project. So just an update. I'm headed now to the machine shop. I got to get all this cleaned up too before I start messing with this. So I got a little bit of work ahead of me before I start ripping back into this thing, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so we got the heads dropped off at the machine shop. They're going to go ahead and rebuild everything, and I should get them back in about a week to a week and a half. So with that being said, that creates a little bit of downtime between now and then for the Z31 project, and I knew that that was going to happen a while back whenever I made the decision to go ahead and have the machine shop do the heads. And what I decided was we're going to do a front mount and a radiator setup on the Z31. And one of my biggest pet peeves about front mount intercoolers on the Z31 is the way that people route the intercooler piping. I'm not a fan of a lot of people. What they do is they ended up drilling holes out in the fender well area and doing 180 bends and having all kinds of crazy routing to get to the turbo. And one of the biggest reasons for that is the radiator is at a 45-degree angle and it takes up the whole front area. So to remedy all that problem, we're going to do a vertical mounted radiator, which is shorter but fatter, and we're going to offset it to the passenger side, and that's going to give me all that area right here in order to route the intercooler piping straight to the turbo where it's going to be sitting. And also it's going to allow me to free up all this area in order to make some nice mounting brackets to mount an intercooler up in the front air dam area of the bumper cover and give it that nice tuner look. And for the combination of parts that I chose to make it all happen is this radiator here is originally the size of a Volkswagen Scirocco, and they've added some mounting tabs on the side right here because a lot of people use these radiators in like sand buggy setups and whatnot. And looking at the overall dimensions and the way it's designed, I thought that that would work pretty good in the front end of this car. So we're going to go ahead and try out that theory and see just how well it fits here. But it has these tabs here on the side, and that's one of the main reasons I decided to pick this one, is because these tabs I can utilize E36 transmission mounts because they have tabs on either side that can be bolted on and bolted onto the front right there on the base of the radiator core support, giving me solid mounts on the bottom. And I'll make a custom bracket from here up to the upper radiator support, and that'll secure that bad boy in place. And I think that this radiator should work just fine for what I'm wanting to do. This intercooler here is from the Z32 project. I originally ordered that for that, but after I got it in, I noticed it was just too slim, too small for the size that I wanted to go with on the Z32. So looking at the overall size of this intercooler, it looks more suited for what I need it to be used on the Z31 here. So I'm gonna go ahead and utilize this for this car, and then I'll end up ordering me a bigger one for that car to fill up that front bumper cover right there. So that's the intercooler we're going to use, and I have intercooler piping right there in the box. So we're going to go ahead and utilize all that and make a cool setup here in the front. I did get some other parts in. I got some exhaust tubing and all that for the downpipe we're going to be making once I get the turbo and everything mounted. We'll make a custom downpipe with a V-band, and that's going to be in a future episode once I get the heads back in. And another problem I was having trying to figure out is the Apexi SAFC2, that's kind of complicated to say. The Apexi SAFC2 that I got to piggyback on ECU to modify the air-fuel ratios in order to make it all work with the new turbo relies on a TPS signal, and this is just a throttle switch. So I wasn't 100% sure until now. I bought a TPS sensor off of a 240SX with the dual overhead cam because I saw two connections on it and it looked about the right size to fit on that. And I wasn't sure the signals that I'd be getting out of the TPS sensor here. So I started ohming things out, and it turns out that this is actually a switch. This is actually a TPS sensor signal. So that's going to work just fine for what I need it to do, because I'm going to use this switch signal for the ECU in the car, and I'm going to use this TPS signal for the signal to the Apexi SAFC2 unit, and that'll be able to cover both of those, and we'll be just fine with that. So I'm pretty proud of my discovery, and you guys who own Z31s trying to come up with a similar setup, you can go off of what I'm doing and utilize this part to work with a piggyback unit. So cool deal. Done enough talking. We got a game plan. Let's take this front bumper cover and everything out and see about mocking this up and see how it looks in the end. Alright guys, so we got it all out now, and I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of time to clean up a lot of this nasty residue and stuff that's been built up over time, and then from there we will get things put in place and see exactly how things are gonna work out. So I'll get back to you here in a moment. So this is what I was talking about earlier. I got the radiator offset to the side, and it gives me all that room right there to pass the intercooler piping through. So now that I got an idea and seeing that this will actually work, I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure out a proper placement for the intercooler. Now the front bumper cover goes over, that's why I got the crash bumper bar in place. I'm going to put the bumper cover over and actually see whereabouts to mount it, because I think that the air dam goes in flush up underneath this bumper cover here, so it gives me all this area to work with to mount up an intercooler, and that's what I was talking about earlier, guys. So pretty happy with the way it's looking so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that bumper cover on real quick and get an idea of whereabouts to put the intercooler. Now this is a rough estimation about where I want it to be and how I want it to look. And the outlets, the inlet and outlet for the intercooler is going to have to sit on the base like that to give me the most clearance to be able to 180 them and bring them to the clearance in between the radiator. But I'm digging it. I like it. It looks really good. So I have it supported up by this little stool, but I'm gonna have to trim some of the bumper guard, and I'm thinking that I'm going to trim it and then weld in a bracket inside the bumper guard. That way I can mount the 2 tabs to that, and that would secure it very well. So that gives me a game plan. So I have to take the bumper guard and everything back off, find the dead center mark on it, and do some measurements and make some cuts. And then from there, get a little crafty with some welding. But I believe that we can make this happen. So I dig it. It looks really good. Damn, guys, when I wing it, I wing it. It seems like whenever I come in with no plan at all, I get the best results. But as you can see, it's perfect. It's got plenty of room for the bin on both sides. And it's got plenty of room now that I can make the routing nice and flowing to the corner where I'm going to have room between the radiator to go straight back where the turbo is going to sit at. So basically what I did to make it all happen was I had some leftover stock from Home Depot. I had this angle piece right here. It's made out of aluminum. You can buy that at Home Depot. And some flat stock. Again, bought it at Home Depot. And I had these left over in the garage. and I use that angle piece right here where I cut it out. I just drilled holes and mounted it, and then it's mounted right there and right there for the intercooler. And then the bottom tabs, I used flat stock to run it back, and I made some bends to make the mount nice and flush. End result, it looks pretty damn good. I'm very happy with it. So now that we got this all figured out, let's go ahead and work on the radiator, get that thing mounted in, and then I can mess with the plumbing a little bit. But I'm gonna have to trim the inside air dam of the bumper cover, because now that this is pushed forward on the intercooler, I'm gonna have to take away some of that material in the air dam to make it fit nice and flush whenever I bolt everything up. So let's go ahead and figure something out now on the radiator. Alright guys, so we got quite a bit done on this episode. We got the intercooler installed and we got the radiator installed, and looking at things, we got more than enough room in order to do the plumbing for the intercooler piping, and it will pass along the side of the radiator just fine. And I'm very happy that it ended up working out using the E36 transmission mounts as the base mounts on the radiator. Now I do need to go to Home Depot and get me some more flat stock in order to make the upper mount, and after that the radiator is nice and secured. But on the bottom of the bumper cover, I had to cut away quite a bit in order for it to clear the intercooler. And a common problem with these Z31s is on the bottom, it tucks back and the upper bumper support pokes out. So I'm gonna have to get me a lip kit in order to remedy that look, so that the bottom of the bumper cover can come out more and be more proportionate with the upper bumper support. And that will make it look just fine, because if you look on the bottom here, it's really, really thin right there along the bottom, and that's typically what you come across with on these Z31s. So we'll get a nice little lip kit right there, and that'll make things look a lot more proportionate. And I'm gonna also go to the pull apart place, because if you saw in the last episode, they had some Z31s there, and there are some nice bumper covers on those. I'm gonna go ahead and get those, so that in the future, once I get a lip kit in, if I need to make, you know, better cuts or whatnot to make it look a lot better, I'll have some extra bumper covers in order to do that. So turns out just winging it on this channel ends up working pretty well for me, because every time I end up winging it, I come out with really good results. So I'm gonna keep winging things until I shoot myself in the foot on that one. But looking down in here, we have plenty of room for the intercooler to work. Now I didn't do any plumbing just yet, because I want to get the heads on with the turbo, and that will give me a better idea in general as where to plumb everything. But looking right here, we have plenty of room in order to pass through right there, so that is good to go on that. So we're kind of at the mercy now of the machinist to get those heads back. As soon as I get those heads back, we'll start rocking and rolling and getting this thing all put together. But in the meanwhile, there's still things that I can do before I get those heads, like wiring up the Apexy unit. And also I ended up getting some bushings in for the rear subframe. I need to install those because I get like a knock whenever I'm taking off, and that's pretty much the bushings are out in the back. So I got polyurethane bushings. We can install those as well. But I want to talk to you guys really quick about the giveaway. On this episode, it's going to be hashtag giveaway in the comment section below. You have to be a subscriber. Enter that into the comment section below, and that will enter you in for a chance to win the G-Tech Pro. And it is right here. Ta-da! So we'll be giving that bad boy away really soon because this project is taking quite a bit of time, and I was kind of hoping to be done with this and demonstrate it on this car, but I don't want to have you guys waiting forever to you know, receive or see who wins it. So what I'm going to end up doing is when Eric comes back, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the G-Tech Pro in his car, and then we'll do a drawing and give that bad boy away. So you guys stay tuned on that. It's going to be here pretty soon, maybe the next episode or the episode after that. I'm just kind of waiting for him to get back from work, so we'll just see how that goes. And also, if you're watching this channel for the first time and you're kind of lurking around, go ahead and subscribe, guys. There's always good content going on this channel like you saw today, and I'm trying to get to over 1,000 subscribers, so go ahead and subscribe, and I guarantee that you'll be more than happy in the future watching my channel, because we got a lot of content coming your way, not only with the Z31 but with the Z32, and I also got other things that I do as well. So plenty of content and plenty of things to watch and learn on this channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up, guys. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content on this video. Hit the notification bell so you can get notified of future uploads of my episodes, and you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. See you guys on the next episode.